One decision, one invasion, one moment in time that would ignite the deadliest conflict in human history. Entire nations would rise, empires would crumble, and ordinary people would be thrust into extraordinary roles. World War II was more than battles and generals. It was a story of courage and betrayal, of innovation and destruction, of choices that shaped the world we live in today. And here's the thing, many of the most pivotal moments were never supposed to happen. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change the way you think about the war that defined the 20th century. And before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Beyond History. This is where the past comes alive. Let's start with a truth that may surprise you. World War II almost never happened. At least, not in the way we know it today. In the 1930s, Europe was still recovering from the devastation of World War I. No one wanted another war. Politicians preached peace, people hoped for stability, and the world seemed to believe that giving in to certain demands might keep the peace. But then came a series of moves so bold, so aggressive, that the world's leaders were caught off guard. In 1939, Adolf Hitler invaded Poland, setting off a chain reaction. Britain and France declared war. The storm had begun. But here is the twist. The United States, the future powerhouse of the Allied victory, stayed out. And for over 2 years, America watched from across the ocean as Europe was torn apart. That is, until one morning in December 7th, 1941. Hawaii, Pearl Harbor. Japanese planes screamed through the skies. Torpedoes ripped through battleships, and in just 2 hours, over 2,000 Americans were dead. This was not just an attack. It was a wake-up call. America was now in the fight. Factories switched overnight to war production. Young men enlisted in droves, and the Allies gained a powerful new force. But the war was not just fought on battlefields. It was fought in secret rooms, in code-breaking stations, and in the minds of generals who had to decide the fate of millions. In an unassuming estate in England, a group of mathematicians, linguists, and puzzle solvers worked tirelessly to crack Germany's Enigma code. Led by the brilliant but often overlooked Alan Turing, they intercepted Nazi messages, allowing the Allies to anticipate attacks and save countless lives. This was a war of information, and the people who fought it did not wear medals. They worked in silence, under immense pressure, knowing that one mistake could mean disaster. But while the Allies were making breakthroughs, a new nightmare was unfolding on the Eastern Front. The battle between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union was the largest and bloodiest front in the entire war. Cities like Stalingrad became symbols of unimaginable suffering. Soldiers fought house to house, often with nothing but knives or even bare hands when ammunition ran out. Temperatures dropped to 40 degrees below zero. Bodies froze where they fell. Yet, against all odds, the Soviets held their ground and eventually pushed the German army back. It was a turning point, but it came at a staggering cost: millions of lives lost. June 6, 1944. The world's largest amphibious invasion was about to begin. Allied forces gathered in England, ready to cross the English Channel into Nazi-occupied France. The Germans knew an invasion was coming, but thanks to a masterful deception campaign, they believed it would happen in a different location. When the real attack began in Normandy, over 150,000 soldiers stormed the beaches under relentless gunfire. It was chaos. Waves crashed, bullets tore through the air, and soldiers faced almost impossible odds. Yet by the end of the day, the Allies had gained a foothold in Europe. The liberation of Western Europe had begun. But with victory came a sobering truth. The world was about to witness the most destructive weapon ever created. In the summer of 1945, after years of brutal fighting in the Pacific, the United States faced a choice. An invasion of Japan could cost hundreds of thousands of lives. So, they turned to a weapon so powerful that no one truly understood its consequences: the atomic bomb. On August 6, Hiroshima was reduced to rubble in seconds. 3 days later, Nagasaki faced the same fate. The devastation was beyond imagination. Over 100,000 people were killed instantly, and countless more would suffer from radiation for years to come. But did it end the war? Or begin a new kind of fear that still haunts the world today? World War II officially ended on September 2, 1945, when Japan formally surrendered. The world celebrated, but the scars ran deep. Over 70 million lives had been lost. Cities lay in ruins. Families were shattered. Yet from the ashes came a new global order. The United Nations was formed, nations rebuilt, and the lessons of the war became a warning to future generations. And here is the thing: the war never really left us. The technologies it created, the political alliances it forged, and the stories of bravery and sacrifice still shape the world we live in today. World War II was more than battles and dates. It was a story of humanity at its best and at its worst. It showed the heights of courage, the depths of cruelty, and the resilience of people who refused to give up. If you believe these stories should never be forgotten, then join us on Beyond History. Subscribe now, because the past is not just behind us, it is part of who we are. And the more we understand it, the better we can shape the future. This is not just history, this is our story, and it is worth remembering.